This is Gunners Are Us.
Hey, that's how we'll start.
And we'll start by drinking a lovely beverage in Arsenal
like
Red.
it.
I'm not going to show the logo in case they want to give us a little sponsor, but...
Yeah, official hydration drink of Arsenal.
A wet whistle.
There he is. But no, this is the Gunners Are Us podcast. I think it's a heck of a name.
I like it. I like the idea of a good logo.
I do.
Involving the Gunnosaurus. You know?
Yeah, and I think something to do with the Toys R Us. I don't think they're in business anymore.
I think we're safe.
I think we're safe.
I think they may have actually come back. I think that toys, but it's okay. It's okay. It's fine because we are going to walk the line of copyright, but we shall not cross it, and therefore everything will be fine. So
no, and the voice you can hear there is Simon Miller, who will be joining us on the podcast every single week. Well, we hope all of us will be here every week. Obviously, everyone's busy, but we're going to try and get a podcast out once a week, just so we can essentially just vent about Arsenal.
Which we do in our WhatsApp group anyway. We do in our car at lunchtime, so we can always record it, and then people can enjoy it.
Exactly. So
that's basically what this is. I need an outlet to talk about Arsenal Football Club because I try in many of my other outlets, but people just get mad. Whereas if anybody is choosing to listen to an Arsenal podcast and then getting frustrated, that's on you, man. You've chosen to listen to this. So I think we all have a free reign. And also, I mean, what timing, right? The season starts in 2 days, Man City versus Burnley, because the Premiership fixtures are rigged. And we're doing Guardiola versus Company. I'm convinced it's totally rigged. But that's fine. I mean, that's a great match to start with on Friday. So I think, we picked the right time to start.
We get a lovely sunny afternoon at the Emirates against Nottingham Forest as well. What a better way to start. I know it might not be the easiest game, because Nottingham Forest have caused us problems before, but a nice sunny day at the Emirates on a Saturday afternoon. That sounds perfect.
Brand new kits, all that. I love that. Growing up, I feel like that was my best memories, was opening day, flags are out.
Yeah.
Hot Highbury.
New kit,
new sign. And it was like zoom in on a new sign like Reyes or someone.
Yeah.
And then you just be like, this is good. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I agree. Although I will say, and I don't have a problem with this. This isn't a negative. I cannot believe how quickly the new season starts these days. Like I remember at the end of the last season, I was like, oh man, this is just not the time. I know we had some cool, like there was the Ashes and there's a Women's World Cup and there's been some other stuff that gets you through, but it's not the Premier League, right? It's like if you come home and you want a cake and you have to have a yogurt. You're like, well, I like the yogurt, but I wanted the damn cake. That's what I'm here for. But it is absolutely nuts how I cannot believe it's this weekend. And also, going back to my rigged argument, we're playing Nottingham Forest. Who just signed for Nottingham Forest? Our old goalkeeper, our old number 2. It's ridiculous. It's all made up beforehand, I tell you.
For Turner done like maybe Friday, and then let the layover happen so that they can play him after our game.
No, because I just read that they look like the paperwork's going to be done in time for him to play against
Fantastic.
Saturday. So,
that is crazy, isn't it? Although, do you know what? I like Matt Turner a lot. I think he had a really good attitude. The fact, I mean, you can argue about the state of, US soccer, but I like the fact that he was still the number 1 goalkeeper for their international team. And, well, I guess we should start here, really, because it's going to be rubber stamped today, right? We're getting David Raya. It's been pronounced every single which way. So I would like to apologize for any overseas listeners. I don't know which one it is.
Remember Terry Henry when we were kids?
Terry Henry.
Well, I don't know which.
A nightmare. Yeah.
I don't know which one to say, because if you say David, you sound a little bit like, oh, yes. It's like when people say Cat. I can't say Camp Nou. It's the new camp. I feel like if I say Camp Nou, I'm going to get exposed. But what do we think about this? Because obviously he's a top-tier goalkeeper. And I trust the process. We talked about this. I trust the process. Very, very. This is the first time where I'm like, look, you're obviously. It's the right move. I'm not saying it's not the right move, but I have a little thing in my stomach where I'm like, what does this mean? I think that's the big question. Are we actually going to do no club? I don't think it's ever done and tried to have 2 top-tier goalkeepers. I can't imagine that. I can't remember a time that's ever happened. Or is this actually a secret mafia mob mission to replace Aaron Ramsdale? And if it is, that's going to make me really sad because I love that guy. I know that his temperament is crazy. I admit that. Those last 10 games of last season, he went crazy, right? But I'd rather somebody worked with him. Anyway, I want to open that up to
I
the
think I'm in the same boat.
What do we think?
When people listen to this podcast, they realize that all 3 of us are probably overly positive about everything we talk about.
We can't help it.
Oh,
positive at the minute.
every player we will like. Every situation. Even when we lose, we'll be like, there's a win in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But I love Aaron Ramsdale.
I agree.
he's probably in my top 3 favorite current players. I do like his temperament. He is a bit crazy. He reminds me a little bit of like Lehman, kind of like he's very good, but he could just.
Hey, but goalkeepers are crazy people. I mean, that's a crazy, like in ice hockey, the crazy part of the team.
Exactly, but I love him, and I see both sides. I definitely think competition will help, but my natural instincts is to be kind of nicey nice and be like, I don't want to upset Aaron Ramsdale. I don't want him to get upset. But he's the first person. I think I saw an interview with him. He's already said, I want competition. I think it will breed success. I've done it to people. When I came in, I said, I'm going to take Leno's place. And I did. I want him to come in and think he's going to take my place, and he's not going to. So instantly you think, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
But going back to my natural feeling in my stomach, because it was you, I don't want to upset the guy.
Yeah.
Let him just play for Arsenal.
I think he kind of thrives in it, because I've seen like training footage and stuff, and he tends to amp up the other goalies. He likes to see what they can do, like Runnison and Hine. He likes to push them for them to be competition, because I think he welcomes the competition.
Yeah,
I think he enjoyed the fact that Raya was in the stands at the weekend as well. Like that's why he set 2 massive saves that led us to get the equaliser. Big save on the penalty shootout. I think he loves it. I think he'll work better with a bit of competition, and I just can't believe Raya's picked us over Tom.
Yeah, the money involved as well.
Yeah.
For 10 million less. I mean, Edu and Arteta, they must have like magic powers. They must just like, oh, we're going to like, hypnotize you. And you just go, oh, yeah, we'll give you whatever you want. I do agree with everything that you said. Like, I really, really do. And I think if you are trying to take out arguably the best team in Premier League history, Man City, you do need to rewrite the rule book a lot. Because even if you copy them, which obviously Arteta's going to do because he's a student of Pep, it's not going to work. You can't be on the same level. Somehow you need to find a way to usurp that. So doing nuts things like this, I actually think is a good idea. But I suppose the rhetoric I bought into, and I never like this, is, and we've done it before too, is when people say, well, this goalkeeper's going to play cup competitions and this goalkeeper's going to play. I don't like it. Yeah. Pick your number one goalkeeper. Like, I think, if you want to win a football match, you pick the person that you think is going to win the football match. But also, when you do start divvying, Raya's going to be mad he's not playing Premier League. I'm just making stuff up here. And Ramsdale obviously would be like, well, I want to be in the Champions League. That's the whole point. So I don't think that's an option. But I'm happy to see it play out, because I have no reason not to trust what they're doing, because they obviously know. And if you can actually build we talked about this, right? It's a bit like, I think they're building a cult. That's what you're building. But if you can build a cult where you can actually have 2 top-class goalkeepers that are genuinely happy to fight it out even if they're not playing, I'm sorry, you're going to win a championship within 2 to 3 years. You just are. Because that probably means you can go buy 2 world-class strikers and you'll have that same mentality. So if you can actually balance that and you can have the team dynamic headed in that direction, what are we in? 2023. I mean, admittedly, let's say it's 2 years down the line, I would be amazed. Not necessarily a Premier League because it's super hard to win, but another Champions League final, maybe an FA Cup. Let's face it, Carabao Cup's fine, but it's not what it once was. That's just the fact of the matter. But if all of a sudden you start, if we go from barely scraping into not even getting into the top 4 to winning, be it periphery trophies or getting to the finals of major trophies, because when you get to a final of a major trophy, it's a toss of a coin, right? You do not know. I mean, look at City, right? When they played Inter Milan, right? It was just no one played well in that. In fact, Inter Milan were better, I would say. So I think if you can get to that level, I think the most important part is that you get to stay there too. And so many people have already, we're done this year, apparently. We're going to finish 7th and we're absolutely done, which is mad to me because there is no evidence to support this. So I'm very excited to see it. I just think, like you, Ramsdale is one of my favorites and therefore I become protective like a mother or a father. I'm like, please don't
I think
upset
I've
this
felt
man.
this way before. Like, I really like Lacazette. I knew in my heart of heart he wasn't good enough.
Yeah, me too,
Every week I'd be like, but I really like the guy. I want him to do well. So I would just kind of stick with him. And people would be like, he scores like 3 goals all season. I was like, but he's trying. But that's the reason I'm not a football manager. Yeah. Because I would do that. And the same with like Bellerin, for example. I loved Bellerin.
Yeah.
And by the end, you could see he wasn't good enough. He couldn't do the roles that Arteta wanted. But still, I was like, can we not keep him around? I think similar is happening to Tierney now. He's such a likable character. He probably doesn't really fit. He's clearly good enough. He's a world-class fullback. He just doesn't fit the system that we play. So you start instantly going, I like having him around. Though.
Yeah.
I like him turning up with the Tesco's bag. I like the fact he trains in shorts and gets muscle injuries.
Well, I think Arteta likes having those players around, the personalities that can keep the locker room tied together. And like he's proven, he can have layers and layers of players in this squad now, like a Holding.
Yeah.
Who he learned very quickly that his role is like what they do in American sports, where you have a guy that comes on as special teams almost to finish out a game.
Yeah.
Like he's got this ability to convince players that they have a role, even if it's not on the first team.
He's definitely taken stuff from American sports because he's talking about subs being impactors.
Yeah.
Which is a basketball term, really.
Yeah.
And then there's locker room guys in the NFL, so people keep certain players around that are clearly past it.
Yeah.
But they just keep the young guys kind of level-headed. That's Rob Holding. So I feel like he definitely is implementing things from different sports, so it's not just football-centric.
Yeah.
And I think it's working because 3 years into this, like I don't think I've ever been as invested in Arsenal in all my life than I am now. I don't know if it's just I'm getting older and I just need more football in my life, but I feel more invested to that crew and that manager and just getting to see them week to week than I've ever done. Hence why we're starting a podcast.
Yeah.
Because I want to talk about it more because it's more enjoyable.
Well, to be fair, the last time I was this invested in terms of having success was like 20 years ago. And I don't think at 15 I knew what a podcast was. I think if we had come up with a podcast,
you're just talking into your phone about the game.
Like, oh man, we got
it
didn't even work back then. No,
talking into my Snake game. On
Nokia,
I think you guys have hit the nail on the head, though. Like Tierney is such an interesting player because I actually think the reason he doesn't hit the highs, I think he's homesick. I really do. I think he just wants to go back and live in Scotland with his family, which I totally understand. Which is why when he got linked with Celtic again, I was actually I can actually see that because he's been linked with like a Leon or Monaco or some team like that. I can't remember who it was now. That's right. Sorry, Real Sociedad. I'm like, I can't see it. I think that's the last thing a player like that would want to do. And I actually hope that we can, again, cast our magic upon him and get him to stay. Because I think those are the people you need in your ranks. He is really good. Like, he's a really, really good. I actually think Tierney is a really, really good player. He's just not as good as what we have or what we need. But that's good. They're the people that you want on the bench or as impactors, whatever. Yeah. So if we can keep him, if we can get to the transfer window, if we get to the end of the transfer window, we've got him, we've got Jorginho. I don't think Partey's going anywhere now. No. All of a sudden, you start looking through that team and you're like, oh man, this is it's building up, right? Which is what you need because City are ridiculous.
Well, even what Tierney offers when he comes on, I think he did it at the weekend, but because we obviously do that, what's the word?
The inverted role.
The inverted role. Like once that's not working, like we're during Timber, like he can play on the left, the right. We can always switch it over and have Tierney just bomb down that left-hand side. And he did it a few times towards the end of that Community Shield. I was going to say Charity Shield. Community Shield game. And it worked, like, because it threw everyone off.
Yeah, and I think there was something too, the idea that when we have an inverted fullback, we tend to have a pacey winger. So when Zinchenko or Timber are inverting, usually Martinelli's out kind of keeping the width.
Yeah.
Whereas I noticed once he brought Tierney on, who's going to keep the width, Trossard came on and he kind of almost inverted at the top of the field. So that there was essentially someone coming infield, someone going outside. Yeah. So maybe that is what he's trying to do with Tierney is, when we play, for example, in the FA Cup, he could start him and Trossard, and we're not going to have an inverted situation, but he might invert the right-back situation, which is Timber. So I think he's trying to create so many wild amount of options that when you move it around, it still kind of keeps the exact shape.
Well, again, I think like he said, who was it? Rice, I think, said at the weekend, playing Man City is like playing 10 mini-games within a game.
Yeah.
And I think Arteta's from the same school of thinking. Arteta's trying to create mini games within a game. Yeah. So if he needs an option, he can revert back to a different option.
I agree, yeah.
And like Pep said when... Sorry, I was going to say, when Pep said when Arteta left Man City, that was a big loss for Man City because of Arteta's brain.
Yeah.
Pep saw that as a massive chunk of what they do gone.
Yeah.
And we've taken it on. And it's going to take a few seasons to build it. But as we can see, it's getting there.
Yeah, no, I think the only one maybe asterisk I have, and I want to be proven wrong. I'll be super happy to be proven wrong. I still think we need a striker, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind if Balogun doesn't leave. Like genuinely, I don't think I'd be bothered by that because I've been reading interviews with him. I think he's quite in a good way. I think he's quite an arrogant son of a gun. You know, after smashing it last year in the French league, I understand it's the French league, but still, I think he's found his his momentum, whatever the word would be. So I actually wouldn't mind it if we can't, because we're going to sell him for 50 million, right? I hope nobody comes up with the 50 million and we keep him because look, it's one game, right? I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'm just basing it off last season too. Havertz should not be playing through the middle. I just don't think it works for him. I don't think he's that kind of a player. And I also think probably his confidence in that position is totally shot after what happened at Chelsea, right? Yeah. He was involved in an absolutely roller coaster 12 months. And I know he's probably got like Stockholm syndrome from it all. Like, no, I don't want to go back there. So I would much rather, and look, again, it's the Community Shield. I was surprised that Nketiah wasn't playing through the middle. I think I would have preferred that. But I mean, I never would have predicted that we would have gone out and got a second goalkeeper. So I don't want to get ahead of myself. But that to me is the last piece of the puzzle. Like, Jesus is an amazing player. Is he a 25 goal a year man? Probably not, but that's okay. I don't think Nketiah or Balogun would be either. So there is somebody out there that we could jump on that I probably would. But again, I may be being very short-sighted here. And the plan, we haven't seen what the plan is, right? We've had one game. And I don't count preseason. I just don't. I'm not saying you can't go in there and play your best. But it's the same as anything, right? If we were just having a conversation now, like as we are, but then all of a sudden we're doing it in front of 20,000 people and we know it counts, it's instinct, isn't it? Something kicks in. Yeah. So at the weekend, the mentality will be completely different. And I may watch it and go, oh, I'm an idiot. I didn't put two and two together. And you mentioned Trossard. I think Trossard is going to fly this year.
He has to start, I think.
I think he has to start. I think people have forgotten how good well, not only was he us for those 6 months, but how good he was before.
Right, yeah.
He's not someone that has to bed in. He's good to go. So, that's the only thing.
He has that thing Jesus has where the ball just sticks to him. Yeah. Like when he has the ball, I'm convinced he's not losing it. Like, when you have that inner confidence when a player's on the ball, like Odegaard, when he's got the ball and he's spinning players and blowing their knees out and stuff, like you feel confident with them on the ball. And it takes me back to the Wenger days, like the days when we used to watch Arsenal games and we'd keep the ball for such a long time. And it was such a nice watch. And then we lost that for a while. I feel like we're back to that. And Trossard offers that.
Yeah.
And even if he is playing like a false nine, left 8, left wing, I don't mind. He has to be there.
Yeah. I think Trossard is a definite starter this season. And you just have to fit him in somewhere. But I do feel like he sees Havertz as a definite starter. And I think he might end up shoehorning him in wherever fits. So, for example, right now, I think he likes to Partey, Rice, 6 and 8. And I think he does that because he feels secure with the fact that they're both defensive-minded.
Yeah.
I think against Forrest, there is a chance he could go with Rice as the 6 and Havertz as the 8, just because he feels more like we could attack at home, things like that. And I think Eddie will start.
Yeah.
But there's options. Like you were saying, we're getting close to that point where, if you imagine a cup is nearly full, we're nearly there with 2 separate 11s that there's not just 2 separate 11s. There's 2 separate 11s that could compete with each other if they were to play, for example. And the only team close to that is City.
And not even as close.
They're not, because they've lost a right winger. They've lost a left 8 in Gundogan and Mahrez, and they haven't replaced him yet. And today they're being linked with Paqueta from West Ham.
Oh, okay.
Which would be a great signing. I feel sorry for West Ham.
Yeah.
But they might be bringing in Maguire and McTominay. I don't know what's happening there. But you can see they are starting to think maybe, we're going to miss a lot from Gundogan as far as locker room, goals, assists.
Oh, yeah.
General play. Like Kovacic is a good player, but he's not Gundogan. And then on the right side, they, like, for example, with us, we're thinking, Saka doesn't have any real competition outside of Nelson. City don't have a right winger at all in the squad. They're using Bernardo Silva out there, which he does a great job. But I mean, we're talking about Saka has to have some games off.
Now, especially after last season, we ran him into the ground.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And he's a 21-year-old, whereas Bernardo Silva having to play out of position on 5 different trophies, including the Super Cup.
Yeah.
They obviously are going to make a massive signing in a minute.
Oh, Vinicius will be here before we know it.
Yeah. It'll be someone. They're linked with Elise, I believe, at the minute. Coming off the right, which I think would be a scary signing for them, because under Pep, I think he'd develop into what Sterling was, which was just a complete stats machine, like just goals, assists, like distance covered, all that kind of stuff. So I do think we are the closest to having 2 full 11s in the whole league now. I think City are close, but when you do look across, as far as like if we start talking about maybe our predictions for kind of the season, who's going to be good, who's going to be bad, when you look across it, like Liverpool, their midfield, I'm not going to attempt this name, but they've got Thiago, they've got McAllister, and they've got
oh yeah,
know,
that's him. That's the guy. Yeah,
we all know who I'm saying.
I know what you mean.
outside of those three, they have like Harvey Elliott. That's their depth in midfield.
Yeah.
And when you look at that, you think, God, like, we're worrying about not having full 11s.
Yeah.
You know, and we have
That's where we're at. Yeah.
We got people like Rice who can play in 2 positions, Timber in 3 positions, Trossard in probably 11 if you wanted. Like, and they're looking at that situation. They're going to this season thinking they're going to win the league.
Mm.
But naturally, as Arsenal fans, are a bit pessimistic. So you go, we haven't got 2 full 11s.
Yeah.
Like, so maybe we can't win anything, you know, whereas there's the other teams, similar to like Chelsea, they're in a massive transition. Liverpool, their depth is 12 or 13 players that could start.
And shipped a lot of goals in pre-season. And again, I still stand by what I said. It means nothing, but they still did, and that was their problem last year. So it could happen again.
Yeah,
just
and we noticed it with us, didn't we? Like in that pre-season, if you watched any of the pre-season, it was very slow. As soon as the Community Shield started, it was a different level. It wasn't the Premiership level, but compared to pre-season, because all pre-season they don't seem to be linking up in any way. I don't really get what's happening. And then the Community Shield, you watch it, you go, oh, I remember this. This was last year. Yeah. So they definitely do pick it up, and I think you'll see a completely different thing with Saturday. But as far as when you look across the league, like who do you think are going to be the contenders for the top 4? Who do you think are maybe the contenders to go down? Because I know you have a vested interest in Luton, so we will. I think every week we definitely will brush on what happened to Luton that week.
Oh yeah,
because I think there's going to be some great weeks, and I think there's going to be some really sad weeks for Luton. But
oh yeah, no doubt.
But as far as predictions, have you got anyone in your mind? Do you think we're title contenders?
I always go into the season saying we're going to win the league, even when I know we're not, because why be a fan?
Yeah.
You know, it's why I get so mad when we went. And look, admittedly, did we go crazy about winning the Community Shield? Yes, but we should do. Yeah. Otherwise, what is the point of watching sport?
Exactly.
Like it really, and that goes for everybody, right? When Liverpool won it last year and Klopp does his big old run, I mean, I'll get annoyed because I'm not a Liverpool fan, but that is how you should be celebrating.
Yeah, that annoyed me so much this week. All the celebration police stuff is so.
I hate it. What is the point? It's like when. Ben Foster's very good at it. I think we've had this conversation before. Like when Ben Foster loses, he just shrugs it off because it means a lot to me, but I'm not going to let this get me down. And people hammer on him. No, that's exactly how sports should be. Yeah. I don't want people to be in their houses crying. Oh, I lost them. That's not cool. So it's the same way.
That's a t-shirt, right? That's not cool.
Yeah, it's not cool, man.
It's not cool.
So I always go into every season the same. We're going to win the Champions League. We're going to win the FA Cup, the Carabao. We're going to win it all because that's what I want to do. Let another team proved me wrong, as opposed to but again, if somebody came in with a gun to my head or I had to put money on it, I still think City will do it because even though they have got weaker, all of a sudden they're being far more active in the transfer market. So clearly they have a plan. It just feels like they wanted to get a few people over the line. I imagine in 2 weeks' time you can look at that City team and go, oh my gosh. And again, I don't care what Haaland did in the Community Shield. He's going to get 30 goals minimum. Yeah. So that's a danger right there. So again, in my dream world, I would go Arsenal, City. In the realistic world, I'd go City, Arsenal. Yeah. And then for the other 2, I do think Manchester United will get in there. I think they've got a real problem with the striker they just bought from Atlanta. What's his name? I can't remember his name.
Højlund?
Yeah, with that stress fracture in his back. That sounds bad.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, so they found a stress fracture in his back to the point that he's not going to start this weekend on Monday. And also, he can't play 2 games a week for a while. Now, look, if you bought him at 30 million, no problem. 75 million, problem. It just is, right? But I still think they'll get in the top 4. I think they'll probably be 4th. And third, I think is really difficult. I think it could be Newcastle. I think they bought very, very well. I think people are writing them off. If, as an outside bet, Aston Villa, I mean, when you look at them on paper, they're incredible. And look, it ties into our own interest. Emery is a really good manager. Yeah. It didn't work out Arsenal, but he still did okay. But he's proven, look, the guy after Wenger was always doomed. Same with David Moyes, guy after Ferguson, you're doomed. You just are. Yeah. But he's proven, all the other clubs that he's gone to. I hate saying it, but again, in terms of, we're talking about my brain, if Harry Kane stays at the enemy, they could do it because, again, they bought well. And if Richarlison all of a sudden remembers how to play football.
Keeps it sharp as well. Yeah.
Keeps it sharp.
Yeah. And I don't know. I hate saying that, but I do worry about them. I think this Postecoglou is actually better than people gave him. Yeah. I think because I watched him in interviews. I'm like, oh man, your head's screwed on. And, Conte's head wasn't screwed on. Great manager, but nuts. Yeah. Jose, nuts. Yeah. And now they've got a guy that's actually, and he wants to be there too. But I think that's an outside bet. So I actually think the top 4, I think it'll be the same as last year, really. Unless Liverpool have something that I haven't seen yet. Chelsea, I wouldn't rule out entirely because I think Poch is a good manager, but it's such a mess. And they've just, was it Nkoku's just been ruled out for 3 months, haven't they? So I can't, I think even if they finish top 6, they'll be good. And in terms of the other end of the table, look, I am not sending Luton Town down. As my headline is, my dad has been a Luton Town fan, no joke, for 60 years. So for them to get in the Premier League, it's like me getting in the Premier League. That's the coolest thing ever. And I think you're right. I think they're going to be smashed 10-0, probably at the Etihad. Yes. But I also think they'll beat Man City at Kenilworth Road. Yes. Because when Haaland is changing in the camper van, he'll be like, what is this? And I don't think he'll be able to handle it. Yeah. Realistically, yes, they probably will go down. But that's fine because them being in the Premier League has now secured their future. And 6 years ago or 10 years ago, they almost went out of business. I worry about Wolves after Lopake. I can never pronounce his name. Lopake.
Yeah, I'm not going to attempt it.
No, I mean I like Gary O'Neill, but I just think it's a time issue. I think he's come in so late that the first 10 games are now his preseason. Yeah. And if they walk away with 8 losses, well then how you get? I mean you can, but it's so hard to turn that around. And in terms of the third team, everyone says Bournemouth. I disagree. I think Bournemouth have got investment, and I did some reading up on their manager, and I was like, oh no, actually he's got quite a decent pedigree. So I don't know about the third one. I think that's going to be really, really interesting.
Do you think West Ham?
Oh no, wait, Sheffield United. They'll definitely go down. They're screwed.
Yeah, we've heard a lot. Sheffield United's fans are quite worried, aren't they? I think you were saying that to me.
They're apparently. I was watching the overlap with Neville and Carragher, which, as an Arsenal fan, I wouldn't suggest. But they had a Sheffield United fan on it. He was just saying, like, I'm genuinely worried. He was like, we've not really invested. We've lost a couple of our better players. We're just not looking. He said we weren't as good as people think we were last year. We're definitely not ready. And he said we're kind of going under the radar because of our history of, like, if you think of like Phil Jagielka 10 years ago in the Premier League, you think, oh, Sheffield United, almost like Burnley, like an awkward mid-table Stoke type side.
Well, they were a bogey team for a while. Yeah.
And he said we're not that team anymore. He said we are a championship team who have probably, in our kind of progression, gone a bit early to the Premier League. Yeah. But I don't know. They're going to be a tough one. I do think if someone was going to bet, I think the 3 teams that came up could easily go straight back down. Yeah, I'm going to say Luton are going to come 10th, and I'm going to stick with that. But
I think sometimes the pure grit of a team like Luton, like with their setup and how everything is, can cause problems. When they play at home, that can cause problems for a lot of bigger teams that aren't used to that setup.
They're going to get so much TV time because they're going to love the idea of showing you how to enter the stands, all this kind of. And I'm sure it's going to be us that they make the point of.
Oh, right. They'll beat us. I'm going to that game too because I'm going to go with my dad.
Oh,
we will lose 3-1. 100% we will lose 3-1.
And Neville and Carragher will be dancing in the stands.
Yeah.
And it will be the worst. But no, I think I'd probably say I pretty much agree with that. The top 6, I think Arsenal, City, and I think Man United are that team that could either be really good this year and challenge, or they could be a real disappointment. Like I'm talking Liverpool this year kind of disappointment.
Oh, but wow.
Yeah. I just don't know which way it's going to go. I need to see them in competitive games because I watched the game against us in preseason. Again, it is preseason. But they did look sharp. But with Man United, the last few years, every time I watch them, I think, I don't know what their style is.
No.
And when I watch them, I think, God, they're bad. But then they win 2-0.
That's kind of been the history of it. That's how I felt watching Man United in general. You can't work out exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
But they get it done. Even back in the Ferguson days, I couldn't necessarily tell you how they played. But with that group of players and that manager, they figured it out. And Man United is just built into them. We're built into us to be like a basketball around possession game. Don't know what theirs is. They're built to win. So I think Man United's going to be a bit of I'd say dark horse. They shouldn't be considered a dark horse, but I think Rashford's got a big season coming. I think he's going to be very good this season.
If it is going to be a few teams, I'd like to see 3 or 4 teams challenging right up till the end.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'd like us just to run away with it, but realistically, if 3 or 4 teams could be in it, it'd be really cool because we've mainly seen 2-horse races for 10, 15 years. Like, it's very rare you get these kind of actual, what way is it going to go? And like seeing people lose more than maybe 3 games a season would be nice. Like, you know, people like City now, if everyone lost 6 or 7 games and you were turning up to certain, because last year Man City got to a point where it was so robotic that you'd watch them against even like Brighton and you think, oh, maybe Brighton could beat him. And you'd watch it and go, oh, it's 1-0, it's 2-0. They've got the ball. They've held the ball for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
it's over, and you just go, oh.
And even when in doubt,
Yeah.
Haaland's hair's flowing, it's down, he's
scores
popped a
against
couple in. Like
he scored with his hair down last year, and that it still bothers me.
that, I didn't annoy me as much because I was quite impressed.
Yeah, but yeah, I think prediction wise, I'd say I'm in a similar boat.
Yeah.
But we're going to take a short break here, and then we're going to come back and we're going to finish off with maybe some individual predictions for Arsenal this year, maybe a little preview of that Forest game, and then we'll get out of it. But we'll be back after this short break. Cool. After that short little break, in reality, it was actually a very long break because my tech abilities are not the best. But coming back, I thought we'd kind of get onto predictions directly on Arsenal and what we think is going to happen, like the last of the transfer window, the Forest game coming up, and just maybe like who we think maybe is going to have a really good season, maybe someone we could be surprised about. Those types of things. Right as we were having that short break, I just checked and Twitter came up. Matt Turner officially joins Forest, and the paperwork will be done in time for the weekend. So
just in time to save a Saka penalty.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I'm up in the air. Like I don't know exact for predictions because some people ask me and I say I'd be very happy with a Champions League run. A trophy of some sort would be awesome. And to just be in the mix. Even if it's third or fourth, I'd be very happy. I don't jump directly to we have to win the league or Arteta out or anything like that. I'm not doing anything like that. But I jump from that and then I jump to the reality of like, we could compete. We should be competing. We are good enough. We proved it. It wasn't a flash in the pan. I think we are good. And because I remember having this conversation 2 years ago when Arteta started, you could kind of see what he was trying to build. And I remember Joe and I, now we have the podcast, we don't have to stand around the dining room table and just talk for 2 hours after a match. But I remember saying, when Liverpool were in such a bad state and Klopp came in, and I remember he had so many like high wages players, some real weird mix of players, nothing made sense.
Very similar to what we've had.
But I was thinking, if they did that and they invested very minimally compared to what other teams have, they brought in a world-class coach, and then they competed for 5 years and they won Champions Leagues. They went to other finals. And I thought, why can't that be us? Other than the pessimist as an Arsenal fan, I was like, surely Arteta is a good coach. If we invest correctly, this could be good. And then progressively, it got better. And I thought, oh, we actually are doing what Liverpool did. We might have 5-6 years of really good like stuff, basically. But naturally, after 1 year, you're hearing Gary Neville's and these people, and you just go, maybe it was a flash in the pan. Maybe we are Leicester, because for whatever reason they treated us like Leicester, but said that we're a big team that should be winning, and it was just very kind of.
Well, I think half the issue is when we listen to like Gary Neville's, people like that. We read Twitter, we invest in what's happening on social media. I think we end up spinning our own version of what we think is going to happen based off that. I like to take it back to our childhood when we didn't have Twitter. We didn't listen to what the pundits were saying. We just watched the games, and it just happened. So I'm willing to just dial it back to my childhood this season, enjoy it like a pure fan. I don't necessarily read Twitter that much and pay attention to what people are saying.
You're smart. That's a smart.
Yeah, I just take in game by game. And all I see is we were top of the league majority of last season. It was only the fact that our depth was that little bit weaker.
Yeah.
Saliba went out.
I do. Sorry to cut you off, but if Saliba doesn't get hurt, do we win the league?
Yes, I think so.
That's such a scary thought.
Yeah.
I think if you go on the back end of last season, I think that is I think your chances go up, right? Drastically if he stays fit. But then you could argue that with a lot of players, right? But I think him a little more than most. Yeah. But I don't see. I mean, football is cyclical, right? I mean, Man City eventually will fall off. We've just seen Liverpool fall off. Chelsea have fallen off. Newcastle are now in the rise again. Man United are a weird team. Somehow they're always there and thereabouts. I don't understand it, but they are the most famous team in the world. Yeah, they're Real Madrid, so whatever. Yeah. But I don't see there's any reason. Again, I'm like you. Do we have to win the league for me to think it's a successful season? No. As long as we challenge City longer than we did this year. That's progress. I do think we need to win a trophy, even a Carabao Cup. It still counts. We didn't win a trophy last season. And I think if we get to the knockout stage of the Champions League, I'll take it, right? I mean, quarterfinals, semis, it's always where I'm aiming for. But the Champions League is so hard. People forget this. People think that it's... I mean, why do you think it took City so long? Because it's such a hard league. And also, if Kane does go to Bayern Munich, I'm sorry, they should win the Champions League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have I looked at their squad because I was like, I wonder who Kane is joining. I was like, world-class player, world-class player, world-class player, world-class player. That's why he's going there. I can't stand it. People always, I don't know why I'm sticking up for Harry Kane, but people are always like, oh man, why would you want to go to the Bundesliga? It's about more than just the Bundesliga. Their team is amazing. And I think Thomas Tuchel is a good coach. I mean, he's nuts, but I do think he's a good coach. So, you know, any kind, getting out the groups, that's progress. And it's progress naturally because we weren't in the Champions League last year. So if we can get to the last 2-3 games and still be in the Premier League, I think that's awesome. I do think we probably should win an FA Cup or Carabao Cup, but as long as we get to one final, again, I can't get mad at finals because we've already talked about it. It's just, you know, that's why sometimes you get the biggest upsets because cup competition. So I think if we do all of that and also we see the team gelling and we don't see the fall off like we did last year, which I do totally understand. It's a brand new set of players and they got scared and they got intimidated as we all would. If we show that we've learned from that too, it means that we'll call this, I know it's more than that, but in terms of the little bubble we're talking about, in the 3rd year of this existence, then to me, within 5 years, including the last 2, I think we probably should win the Premier League. I think if you get to sort of 2026 and we haven't, then you have to go, okay, well, something is, why not?
A lot of money spent in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think you do have to have that criticism. I still wouldn't actually mind. I'm genuinely, this is a terrible attitude to have probably, but I'm genuinely happy just competing. Like I just am.
Yes,
because people act like beating City is easy and it's not. It's really, really difficult. But as long as we are on it for, let's say, 36 weeks out of the 38, you know, Premier League weeks, I'm cool with it. I genuinely am. I'll have a great old time.
Yeah. Well, that's most of the fun of football is competing. Like, Dad, when we were watching the penalty shootout the weekend, you were out of the room. Dad thought you'd left on purpose just to not watch because our granddad would watch from the garden.
Yeah, he would.
Whereas I was on the edge of my seat just staring at the TV, and Dad was like, "You enjoy this, don't you?" And I was like, "I like it when it matters. I like games that aren't for something. I want everything to matter." And going back to the celebration thing, I like every team, every player to celebrate every little thing that happens in the game. Because like you said in the week, they train all week for this. We don't see the work that goes into each game, including this Nottingham Forest game. The work they're putting in, they should celebrate every little thing because every little thing matters. Like we proved last season, every match matters. Every goal matters. Everything matters.
And I think if we're going to touch on the celebration police, because I think it is something that's going to come up a lot, I hate it. And there's 2 parts to it. One, what we've all been saying, which is that they should celebrate every little moment. But the other part is just, I think it's a bit disrespectful to like just us, the regular person. Like we're paying massive money to go to these matches.
Putting ourselves through a lot of stress.
Yeah, like for example, I know people who went to Community Shield. Like we know someone, a promoter in wrestling that went to a Community Shield. They paid big money for that day out. Think how much that cost for you and your son.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if the Arsenal players just lifted a tray for you, went, thank you, and then just wandered off?
Exactly, yeah.
They want to see the like. I wanted to watch more footage at the end of it because I was like, keep showing. I want to see them all jumping about and stuff. Like people seem to forget that part, which is the real life part of it. Which is this is what gets us through weeks. Like you know, if I'm having a bad week, you know, I'll throw an Arsenal podcast on, or I'll chat to Joe, or now this podcast.
Yeah,
and it just reminds me, like I've like for the duration of this podcast so far, I've not thought about anything other than this.
Yeah.
but that's what kind of it kind of gives you an outlet, you know, and that's what we have to remember. And that's why I think the celebration police is just wild. I don't get it.
And that goes for all teams. Like if Sheffield United come to the Emirates and they whip us 1-0, celebrate like crazy. I'll be annoyed about it because you're not my team, but that's what I want you to do. And when Ten Hag and United won the Carabao Cup and he was doing that dance, that's what you should do. I want to make it very clear. This is for all teams. Like you're allowed to be annoyed about it because it's not your team. That's football, right? It's tribalism 101. But what is the point, man? What is the point? So we're meant to sit there, like you say, and just be like, "Oh, fabulous," and then we may as well just throw everything out into the sea. Yeah. I don't get it, man.
When you look at other sports, the NFL, I'm a big NFL fan, and like sometimes you watch your team, you're like 47-3 down. There's 30 seconds left on the clock, and for whatever reason, they're taking 20 minutes to figure out the right play. And you're thinking, "Oh my god!" And the guy catches it. And he does 7 different dances. The whole team comes down and piles on. And the crowd are going wild. There's fireworks. And you're just like, you've just lost this by 7 scores.
Yeah.
But they're still like, you know, celebrating. I was like, because that's the point. It's the grandeur, you know, like we come from wrestling, all of us. So like, it's the idea of like, this is entertainment. It is sport, but it is entertainment.
Exactly.
You know, and I get lost in it. As the seasons go on, the players got nervous last year. I was getting progressively more nervous. I was like getting smaller, physically smaller.
Yeah.
I haven't recovered from that feeling of up and down, but I want it back.
Yeah.
I want it now, and we're back.
Yeah, and that's why it's so exciting. The Premier League is starting in a couple of days. We're starting at home to Forest. They will have Matt Turner in goal probably. What we predicted? What are we thinking for lineup and what are we thinking for scoreline?
I think we're going to go with pretty much what we did in the Community Shield. I think that was a test.
Okay.
And harkening back to what you said about Havertz as well, like he's not ideal there, not by a long shot.
No.
But what he did do in that match, I was impressed with. Because of his long limbs, he put his foot in. He chased everything.
Yeah, he worked his ass off,
Yeah, he caused problems. He did gas out, I think, a little bit because I think he's not used to the work rate. Like at Chelsea, the work rate wasn't the same as what Arteta's putting him through.
Yeah.
And he was chasing everything. That was his job up top, was to chase down. I think we're going to stick with that and do that again.
Wow. Okay.
And I also think we will probably win. I'm going to predict...
7-0.
No. I'm going to go 2-0. 2-0 Arsenal.
I'll take it. What do you think, Simon?
I think that he may play Nketiah through the middle. I think that it may be, or he may come on earlier than maybe, depending on what's happening in the game, obviously. But I think there may be some man management to that too. Because if I was Nketiah and you played Havertz in that position, I'd be like, excuse me.
Yeah.
I think it's the same with Reece Nelson and Saka too. I think Reece Nelson's going to have a way bigger impact this year than he did last year. Yeah. I think that's why he signed a new contract. I think he's been sold something that, hopefully that we'll be able to see. I think 2-0 as well. I'm going to say 3-1 just to be different, but I actually don't think we'll concede. I think we're going to be very hard to concede against this year, which for Arsenal is awesome because I remember 5 years ago when that was not the case. Yeah. And we would just fall over when anything.
I've got a distinct memory of Mustafi in the rain walking out, holding the ball after every goal.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I'll say 3-1 just to be different. But no, I think we're going to win. I think Nottingham Forest obviously are still buying and they're still cementing their plans. I think Nottingham Forest are going to be fine this year. But I just think maybe, I hate this saying because it's so dumb, but I think it's come a little bit early for them, whereas we've done our business, earlier in the window. So I do think a win. And yeah, just for fun and games, I'll go 3-1.
Yeah, I was thinking 3-1, but I don't know if that's just because that's a typical Arsenal scoreline. I don't know why.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I want to see what you offer up now that I've said 2-0. He said 3-1. I want to see where you go now.
I'm going 5-0.
Oh,
nice, love it. Damn right.
I think we won 5-0 at home to them last year.
Okay.
I think Havertz up in the number 9. I think will happen throughout the season, but I think it'll be mainly against teams like Man City and Liverpool, maybe even Man United, because he had a really good record at Chelsea. His goals that he did score, the minimal ones he did, all came against City and Liverpool's because they used him in that kind of physical hold the ball up thing. So I think he'll be put in that situation. But against Forest, I could see him dropping into the 8. I could see Trossard starting on the left.
Yeah.
And I think Rice will play 6 with Partey on the bench, which will be nice because throughout the season, I think Partey is unreal. I've really enjoyed watching Partey. But he can't play 38 games plus 20 others.
That was our problem last year, wasn't it? And that's what we fixed. You cannot have the same team that long,
Exactly. And then, like the week after, I can't remember who we've got, but we've got an away game. It's slightly tougher, I think, in my head.
I can tell you who it is. We've got Crystal Palace away.
Oh, okay.
So see, for me, that's a Rice on the 8 and Partey 6.
Solid.
And he could be thinking Partey played last weekend. We could give him 30 minutes at the end of this if we want to change it up. I think Rice plays 6, Havertz left 8, Odegaard, Trossard, Nketiah, similar to what Simon said, and Saka.
Yeah.
And the back 5 will be the same as what we saw in the Community Shield. And I just think it'll be based on who we're the opposition.
Yeah.
But my main one is I really love to see Trossard start because I think he deserves it.
Me too.
Throughout the whole preseason, he's been unreal. And I just like him. Even when he was at Brighton, he was like a fantasy football guy for me. Like I would just, he would be in my team every time because he's just a stats getter kind of thing. So I love seeing him in Arsenal shirt as well. So that's just a.
Well, I think the beauty of the depth we have now is that we can offer up these options as what we think the starting 11 is going to be week to week, and it all sounds very positive. Like you said about Reece Nelson, I like what he offers. He offers a direct play that no one else really does. Yep. He's not bothered about cutting in, having a shot, just attacking their line, like just running towards that byline, running towards the goal, which not many of our players do.
Yeah,
and he's Arsenal through and through as well.
Yeah.
Which I think massively helps. He's invested, right? Like,
I love seeing like the Community Shield and this like says Hale End. There's the four of them. I think I'll always be pro youth.
Yeah,
and I don't know if that's just because we grew up in the Wenger era where it was like everyone has to be like 16 for the debut.
Well, we haven't mentioned Smith Rowe.
I know, I'm a big.
Who's due a big season soon.
That's what I mean, and it's so nice because you think of last season, it was the same 11, a lot of it.
Yeah.
And the minute we lost one, it got a bit shady.
Yeah.
All three of us have given out slightly different like lineups for this weekend, so that shows you the depth that's already grown, and we feel comfortable with 3 or 4 different options there. Yeah. So no, I'm excited to see it. Unfortunately, I'm at a wedding, so I won't be seeing it.
I will be here,
which is destroying me.
I'm watching it. I'll be watching. Well,
I'll find a way.
Well, me and Simon will keep you updated on WhatsApp.
Oh my god!
Totally, absolutely.
Yeah.
But,
do you know what? Do you know what I think we should do before we wrap as well, right? Because we are starting at the start of the season. Not like anything overly long. I think we should. I've got all the games up right on my computer. I think we should try and predict all the games as well. Then every week we can see who's actually good at this.
Yeah.
Right. So I just zoom through them now. So obviously the first one is Burnley, Man City. I'm saying Man City.
I'm going to go Man City.
Yeah, Man City.
Right. Sheffield United, Crystal Palace. I'm going Crystal Palace.
I'm going to go draw.
Yeah, I'm going to go Palace.
Brighton, Luton. I'm going Luton. I'm going to back them every step of the way, even though they're definitely going to lose.
I don't want to offend anyone, but Brighton. Brighton's something we haven't spoken about, but they look.
They're great, Brighton. Yeah, they're really good. They're definitely going to win.
They run everything really well from back to front. Yeah. I'm going to go in the middle and go draw.
Nice. Newcastle, Villa, which I think is a great game.
That's
and you know what? I'm going to bet on this too. I think Villa's going to win. And I think everyone in St James's Park is going to be like, what the flub? There's always one surprise on day one. I'm going that.
Yeah. I like that. I'm going to go same Villa.
Yeah, Villa.
I really like Villa this year.
Chelsea, Liverpool, I'm going draw. They are so going to play for a draw, 100%.
Oh my god, that game's going to be bad, isn't it? Or is it going to be so crazy, like 4-4? I'm going draw.
I'm going to go Liverpool.
Okay,
interesting.
We've got a lot of away wins.
Yeah.
Bournemouth, West Ham. That's a hard game to predict.
That's tough.
I think Bournemouth will win. I think Bournemouth.
Bournemouth is run so well at the minute with that manager. I think they'll do it.
Yeah.
Everton, Fulham. I'm going Fulham. I worry about Everton.
Fulham, I worry about Everton.
Yeah, Fulham.
Brentford, Tottenham. Obviously, we're all saying Brentford, I imagine. No one is
I think that's a horrible start for Tottenham.
Yeah, it's not good.
Especially at their stadium, too. And Man United, Wolves, genuinely, I think Wolves are going to win because they shouldn't. And they're in complete disrepair. And when that happens, somehow these teams pull out massive results. So I'm going to say Wolves will win that as well.
My heart is telling me that it has to be Wolves.
Yeah.
But my head is saying Man United are going to win, and we're all going to be like, are they good?
Yeah,
I'm going to go a solid draw.
Solid draw.
Just for Wolves.
Nice, I love it.
So there we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a note of all these predictions, and then we can keep this up, you see. And then by the end of it, we'll realise we all just say the same teams. It's a waste of time. But it doesn't matter.
We are the most positive Arsenal podcast in the world.
That's our slogan. We're overly podcasting.
Do you know what, though? I'm happy about that. I won't name names, but there are some famous Arsenal fans out there. We all know who I'm talking about. Yes. And I just do not like the way they approach it at all. I don't think it helps the cause. I think it winds everybody up, and that's not why I watch football for. Yeah, exactly. I've never seen an Arsenal team, even during the bad days, go out there and not try to win. I haven't. Yeah. I've seen them give up, but that's different. That's halfway through a match and be like, and I get it because I've done that in my own life. You're like, oh, for goodness, I can't do it. You know, that's not no one intentionally goes in there to do that. And again, we'll talk about this on a different episode in the future, but I think because they're all super rich, I think people forget about the mental health of football players. I don't understand how they handle social media, or like I looked on the back page of whatever newspaper it was today, and who the hell was it? I can't remember, but let's just say it was Harry Maguire. It wasn't. It was just like Harry Maguire, where it all went wrong. And I was like, man, how on earth it's too much. It's too much.
Anyway, like I said earlier, the amount of work they put in as well. Like, we don't see it day to day. We got a nice sneak peek from the Prime Doc. But the work that goes into these players, they make a lot of money, but their lives are taken over by this from a young age. Yeah. And they're feeding us what we love and why we can sit here and talk about it. So I'm never going to be negative about that.
Me too.
I'll never be negative. I love it. It's too much fun. It's just pure entertainment. It comes every single week.
Oh, it's amazing.
And so does this podcast, the Gunners R Us podcast. Will be up. We hope it's going to be a Thursday. every single week. And then some weeks there could be some solo ones where some of us just kind of rant for an hour. But we'll try and get additional podcasts up because, for example, if we lose to Forrest and Joe can't handle it, he might just jump on the mic and
it's constant content. It keeps on giving.
But we'll try and get all three of us together once a week. But you'll be able to find us on iTunes, I know for sure. Again, not great with tech, so the next couple of weeks you'll find out exactly where to find us.
It's teething. It's
teething.
It's first episode. We get free reign in the first episode.
Yeah, I'm the first 6 months of our tech. That's all, okay?
Exactly.
In 5 years' time, we're really going to boom.
We're winning awards. We're
winning Champions Leagues. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
If it's a 5-step program, we're going to get there. But if you've enjoyed the show, thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.
Hell yeah.